you for waking up with Fox 9. I'm Manuel.
And I'm Anahi, and we are live from room 202.
Wake up with Fox 9.
A small fire broke out today in the boys' bathroom,
Making all students evacuate the building for 15 minutes until the fire department came to the rescue. Now moving on to why we are truly here. Manuel and I have two important writers and poets, Rena and Gloria.
Gloria Ansaldúa and Rena Espaillata wrote about how their language represents who they are.
Manuel and I will be having an interview with them about How to Tame a Wild Tongue by Gloria and Bilingual, Bilingue by Rena.
So please welcome Rena Espaillat.
Yeah, I know. Does your language make you ashamed of who you are?
It depends, because when I'm with my family, I'm not ashamed, but when I'm with other people, I'm just ashamed of my dialect because my culture influences who I am. Yeah.
In your text, you say something really hurts you. What is it?
I was talking about my language because I am my language.
What do you mean you are your language?
Well, like I said in my text, until I take pride in my language, I can accept who I am.
How do you feel about being bilingual, and how does it show who you are as a person?
Being bilingual shows where I come from, and it shows who I want to be. Being bilingual was giving me an advantage in life because it's like I have two worlds in one.
All right. Thank you for joining us today. We will be talking to Rena next.
So today we have Rena Espaillat as one of our we are interviewing her. She is a famous poet. She wrote Bilingue and Bilingual, which we are focusing on. And so please welcome her. How are you today, Rena?
I'm pretty good.
We have a few questions for you. So, Rena, how did you feel about mixing your languages together?
Well, in reality, I really didn't mind, but my dad was really strict about me mixing the languages together because he was afraid of me losing my identity and forgetting who I am. But he didn't know that I myself was creating a whole new identity of mixing both languages together.
Okay. How did you feel about hiding your two identities from your dad?
I really didn't feel comfortable in hiding my other identity from my dad, but I had no choice because he was afraid of me mixing my languages. Like I said in my poem, English outside this door, Spanish inside. He said basta, meaning period.
Why was it necessary to secretly wait until the night to learn English?
Well, since I really wasn't allowed to speak or learn English at home, but it seemed to be that at nighttime was the only time I could learn English because my dad was sleeping, so I took advantage to learn English.
Was it hard hiding it from your dad?
It really wasn't hard, but I try to keep it on the low, but yeah.
Okay. How did your dad feel about knowing that you knew how to speak English well?
Well, I always liked it to think that he knew that I already did, but at the same time, he felt really orgulloso, meaning proud. Now I know that everything I did was worth it.
Okay. How do you feel about being bilingual?
I feel that being bilingual embraces your true identity because you can be open about being a part of two cultures, two languages, which became another identity.
Sorry. I'm going to ask you some of the questions we asked another bilingual speaker. Her name was Gloria Ansaldúa. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She wrote the book, the short story, How to Tame a Wild Tongue. We asked her one of this. Does your language make you ashamed of who you are?
It really doesn't make me ashamed because I'm proud of who I am and who I want to be. So, like, I myself am making a new identity by mixing them two languages.
I think we should bring both speakers out and writers so we can at least see both their perspectives together. So please welcome Gloria Ansaldúa. So, here's some questions that I want to ask you guys. How does being bilingual show who you really are?
Well, I love being bilingual because it just gives me so much advantage in life. It's like I have two worlds in one.
Okay. You, Rena?
I really didn't let being bilingual get in my way because it can become very useful in life. I still am who I am. I was in the first place, and instead my world has become richer, diverse, because I am familiar with two worlds and two languages, Spanish and English. Identity of being able to communicate with people of two cultures.
How does language affect your identity?
Well, I feel like my identity is involved with two worlds. I was born here, I was born in Texas, but my heritage is Hispanic. So I grew up with Spanish, but I also grew up with English, so I grew up with both. And I feel like my identity involves with both. So I'm not one or another.
And you, Rena? Oh my god. How does language affect your identity?
Well, I don't let language affect my identity because I still am who I am. And I ain't gonna let nothing change it because I started how I was and that's how I'm gonna be, but I'm just adding a new mixture of English into it. But I don't see that affecting my life. I'm just creating a whole new thing for me. Yeah.
How does it, do you know how it impacts your language, your identity, sorry?
It really doesn't impact me, but I can say that it kind of does, cause it doesn't really impact me, cause like I want to be two different languages, and that just creates me, and that's who I am.
Yes, I agree with Rena. We're both. We're two.
I feel like
We're English and Spanish.
Alright. Well, thank you for coming to the show. And as you guys know, the viewers, me and
You are
Anahi.
so welcome.
Oh, sorry. As you guys both know, me and Anahi are both Hispanics, and I was born here in the United States, so I kind of had a disadvantage of learning both languages impacting who I am. I learned that as I grew up, you can have dual identities, but at the same time, your identity becomes as one. I grew up speaking Spanish at home and speaking English outside at home, but I use both languages in and out. So I relate to them and what they wrote because it kind of expresses who I am as well, and it has a lot of descriptions, and I feel like it describes me as well. So what do you think, Anahi?
I agree with Manuel because growing up being bilingual isn't easy, but it isn't hard because when you grow up and when you're at home, you have to know your Spanish, and then at school, like you have to forget about your Spanish and know English in order to communicate with other people, because I was born in Mexico, but I was raised in California. And then I moved here and I started school here in kindergarten, and it was hard to communicate with other people because I had to learn English there. And then leaving school and getting home, I had to speak Spanish with my family, which is it's not easy, but it's not hard. You just have to know how to manage two languages and know when to use them and where to use them.
So you could say language does impact your identity because when you first got here, you learned Spanish, so it kind of shows who you are.
Spanish?
I mean, sorry, you spoke Spanish, so it shows who you really are.
preach it.
All right, thank you. So thank you for waking up with Fox 9, and we'll check in with you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah, the weather's amazing.
It's so cold and luscious. A little bit emotional today.
No, don't play this song.
Who? Yeah.
I agree with Manuel because growing up. Ruby, ¿te callas?
fan goes too. Ducks they quack and fish go blub, and the seal goes ow, ow, ow. But there's one sound.
Good morning, and thank you for waking up with Fox 9. I'm Manuel.
And I'm Anahi. Oh, we are live from room 202. It's just, I'm distracted because that's backwards. Oh. We started to evacuate the building for 5 minutes until the fire department came to the rescue.
You blocked half your face. Good morning. Thank you for waking up with Fox 9. I'm Anahi.
And I have 2 important writers and poets, Rihanna and Gloria. It's Rima. Crap. That's on
It's like I gotta put this
so beautiful, like an angel in disguise. But if you meet a friendly host,
Do you remember the first part? And we are not live from 202. You're supposed to go right away. You take forever.
will you speak to that? Oh, 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 oh.